Despite being my most popular video by far, for reasons I can't exactly explain for one way or another, I'm going to go ahead and make a sequel, and this time it is my favorite monster from a certain encyclopedia that, hint hint, is not Britannica, and that is going to be How to Manticore. Now, off the top, I'm going to say, this build is not the most crazy Buku's way to break the game video that you're going to see, but it's going to be thematic, and I feel like it's going to be fairly interesting, but hold your reservations. Regardless, we're going to enjoy this very well. So, today we're going to present How to Manticore. Manticore is a mythological beast that is part lion, part man with a scorpion tail. We're going to be trying to get our best to get that scorpion tail off the top, and if you know how we're going to do it, go ahead and hold out. Let's get this rolling. So, Manticore. We're going to begin as a shifter. We're going to go ahead and try to go for that half man, half beast aesthetic right off rip by going into shifter. Now, if you don't know, shifter is something that I believe is from Eberron, and is this sort of beast-human hybrid that is able to kind of shift, hence the name shifter, into various different forms. Now, there's different types. There's the beast hide, there's long tooth, there's swift stride, and there's wild hunt. We are going to be taking advantage of the swift stride version of our shifting, but let's go ahead and read it from the top. So we're going to go ahead and get a +2 to one score, +1 to another. We're going to be humanoid, we're going to be medium, our speed is going to be 30 feet, and our bestial instincts gives us proficiency in either acrobatics, intimidation, or survival, as well as athletics. We're going to take survival. That just seems to be very interesting where we're going, and we're really going to be taking advantage of that score, as well as we get dark vision. That allows you to get 60 feet, and that's not too bad, about standard, really. And of course is the main reason we're here, the main name of the beast, as it were, and that is going to be shifting. With a bonus action, we can take on a bestial appearance. The transformation lasts for 1 minute until you die, or until you choose to revert as a bonus action. When you shift, you gain temporary HP times 2 times your proficiency bonus. Nothing too crazy, but still something, give you a little bit of bulk, and you can shift a number of times equal to your PB and regain expended uses when you finish a long rest. So just something a little interesting. It's a usage of our bonus action, which will become very cluttered soon, but it is for good use. Now, whenever you shift, you can choose one of those, as I mentioned earlier, but like I said, we're going to go with the swift stride. The swift stride allows you to gain 10 extra feet of walking speed while you're shifted, so we're already at 40 feet. In addition, you can move up to 10 feet as a reaction when a creature ends its turn within 5 feet of you, so the enemy still has to hit you, but once it's done hitting you, you can kind of bail out without provoking any sort of opportunity attacks. Not too shabby, not too bad, but still nothing too crazy. Notice that we don't have any sort of feat or anything interesting like that, but it's okay, because we're really going, like I said, for more thematics, and at the end of the day, shifter isn't too terrible of a race. In addition, we're also going to take an extra language. I chose Celestial. Honestly, you're probably better off choosing something a little bit more realistic, like maybe Dwarvish or Elvish or Giant or something along the lines, but don't you worry there. We're going to become a natural polyglot in no time. Like I said, I offered the idea of a swift stride. Alternatively, beast hide can be okay because you get additional temp HP and also a bonus to your armor class, but frankly, I don't know. I don't see much of a use for it anyways. We're going to go with a point buy like so, most notably going towards our strength and our wisdom, putting our +2 in that strength and that +1 in wisdom. And Dex and Constitution are taking a little bit of a middle hit, and we're dumping intelligence and charisma. We may not be the smartest. We are not the most well-rounded individual. We're a monster, for crying out loud. But we can certainly take advantage of the raw strength and the inherent wisdom that comes with surviving out in these planes. So we're going to go ahead and start as a Barbarian. That's right. We're actually going to take advantage of it. If you guessed, then you guessed. And if not, then, well, stick along for the ride. So as a Barbarian, we get the biggest hit die in the game. That is a 1d12, and it's the only class that gets the 1d12. In addition, we also get light armor, medium armor, and shields. Not too bad. We get simple martial weapons, pretty much everything we need. No tools. Not exactly the most skillful sort there. And our saving throws are in strength, which is, I guess, good against grapples, and then constitution, which is good against poisons and the like. Honestly, not too shabby. And of course, we get 2 skills. I'm going to go ahead and choose from that list animal handling and perception, mainly because we're an animal, and also because perception is just the most rolled thing in the game. So it's pretty darn good there. In addition, we also get some certain items right there. We get the great axe or a melee weapon. We also get 2 hand axes or a simple weapon, and of course, explorer's pack and a couple javelins. Not too shabby to start with. We're going in. We're going to be dealing damage because we are a monster. We are a beast, and we will be doing up to that role as such. I chose to start our background as a criminal, mainly because I want the stealth skill proficiency, which is going to be very useful later. Yes, I know our dexterity skill isn't the highest, but stealth is also very important and rolled pretty frequently. In addition, we also get deception. Like I said, our charisma score is pretty darn bad, but we can at least work on our deception skills a little bit, and we also get some additional items that frankly aren't too useful. Continuing on as a barbarian, we get the cornerstone feature, the main reason why you go barb in the first place, and that is to rage. As a bonus action, we can start raging, and as long as we're not wearing heavy armor, we get advantage on strength checks and strength saves. If you make a melee attack using strength, you get a bonus damage to the roll that is going to be on the chart for the barbarian. And also you gain, most importantly, resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, which is going to be very important because we will need as much of that as possible. Of course, when it says you can't cast spells, nor can you concentrate on them, that is a big hit right there. The rage lasts for 1 minute, and of course, if you're knocked unconscious, your turn ends, or if you haven't attacked a hostile creature or haven't taken damage, you're out of your rage. So, and you can also choose to end that as a bonus action, but frankly, you don't really have too much reason to do so unless combat is over. And of course, you can rage as many times on the table as necessary. And of course, we get the very, very important armored defense, which gives you 10 plus your dex plus your constitution modifier, and still can wield a shield. Not too bad, because when you look at the math that you see right there, it ain't looking too hot, but we'll make the most of what we got. Again, we got resistance to damage, and also we're going to be getting hit pretty frequently, as you saw with the above part there. I recommend bringing on those javelins that we get for free. You know, they're not too bad. They give you a good amount of range, and of course, I recommend also a halberd. Barbarian 2, total level 2. We're going to go ahead and pick up Danger Sense. This is not too great, in all honesty. You get advantage on dex saves against things that you can see. So if you can see a wizard casting a fireball over there, you can in fact dodge it, or at least get the half save on that. It's not too shabby, not too bad, but there's a lot more to be needed. And of course, you get reckless attack. Now this is what we want as a barbarian. You're just able to make on your first attack a turn just the ability to attack recklessly, which gives you advantage on a melee attack, but that allows enemies to get advantage on you until your next turn. So with our 14 AC, we're pretty much going to be hit all the time. Again, we got resistance to that bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage. Anything outside of that, it's going to hurt. But we can really take advantage of the reckless attack because, like I said, we're going swinging. And of course, we do get temp HP from being a shifter. And also, we have the ability to move out of the way when an enemy ends their turn near us. So if it's a bunch of enemies coming at you, you can be able to move 10 feet out and not getting attack of opportunities, thus minimizing the advantage that you'll take throughout that turn. And after that, we're on to Barbarian 3, total level 3. Now is where we finally get what we came here for, and that is going to get Primal Knowledge. That's right, folks. We did all this for Primal Knowledge. I'm just messing with you, of course. We get proficiency in one skill of choice. I'm going to go ahead and say we pick up Survival, because, again, it's just a very nice thing to have, very useful in general. And, of course, we get our subclass, which is the real reason why I tricked you. Got you right there. And that is going to be Mr. Beast! Now, of course, with the form of the beast, whenever you rage, you're able to get some sort of crazy bestial power, which works as a shifter, which admittedly kind of does run into some problems because raging is a bonus action, and so is the shifting as a bonus action. And they both last about the same amount of time, so before you even smell combat coming, you may want to activate one of these two. Whenever you do rage, you're able to get one of these 3 features, and that is going to be Bite, Claws, and Tail. Now, a Manticore does have a bite, but honestly, whenever you look at it, it's mostly a human face, and so biting isn't too much, and honestly, biting is okay, but really, I think we're more focused on the claws and really more importantly, the tail. The tail, it can be anything that you want. Honestly, I would say make it look more like a scorpion tail, that way it goes with your bestial appearance. Bing, bang, boom, we got ourselves a pretty darn good Manticore off of level 3. Like I said, there's pros and cons to each of these, and I think we'll go ahead and break them down right here. Claws. Claws aren't bad. In all honesty, if you're doing some sort of monk multi-class, claws are pretty solid because whenever you're able to make an attack, you're able to make an extra attack. Not too shabby. Honestly, you do get this extra attack for free, so it's honestly not too shabby. Doesn't eat a bonus action, doesn't eat a reaction, doesn't eat any sort of resource. We just have an extra attack. Not too shabby. Of course, there are many cons that comes with these claws. On one hand, it says that you have to have your hands empty. Now, like I mentioned, we do have a javelin and we have a halberd, but each comes with their own benefit. The claws are a D6, which what the javelin does, but the problem is that the claws are all close range. The javelin does give us a benefit of some range. The halberd has a D10, and it has range. Yeah, it's missing that extra attack, but whenever you sort of parse out the math, they come out fairly similar, and the halberd just has general situation awareness to where you're able to hit within range, or a larger range, and effectively do more. Secondly, the claws really aren't as conceptual as the tail, because like I said, most of the reason why we're here is for this tail. There's not many other ways to get a tail in D&D. I mean, you're more likely to get an elephant trunk than you are a prehensile tail, unless you're like a Hattazee, if I recall. But that's more of a monkey than a monster lion sort of looking guy that we're going for. And of course, with the tail that we fought all 3 levels for, started out as a barbarian for, and finally and really gone to 4, it's got some pros, and of course it's got its share of cons. Now, the good news is about the tail is that, going back, it has an interesting rider property to where on the second line, you can use your reaction to swipe your tail, roll a d8, and apply a bonus to your AC equal to the damage rolled. Fantastic for our wimpy 14 AC. It could bump it up to a 22, but the con, if you go down to the cons a little bit, the first one on there, it uses our reaction, and the AC is only during that one attack. Unlike the shield spell, to where it lasts until the end of, or till the start of your next turn, the tail only says that one attack, so it's not exactly as really solid. Yes, it lets you block one big hit, but that's about it. And again, that's your reaction, so you only get 1 per turn. But of course, with the tail, you have both our hands free, and also the tail is a 1d8 with reach. So if you're really more focused on the javelins, you're able to stab with a javelin and jab with a tail once we get some extra attacks going on. And of course, it's very thematic. This is what we came here for, this is what we're looking for, this is where we want to be. So let's really ride that. Of course, the claws do have their benefits if you see more of a claw than a tail, and honestly, again, every time you rage, you can swap between them. You don't have to sell yourself on one. But like I mentioned, it uses a reaction, and the AC is only during the attack, and at the same time, Swift Stride has that use of reaction. Whenever an enemy stops within 5 feet of you, you can move 10 feet. We burned our reaction on the tail, so one or the other each turn. And the tail also only does 1d8 damage, whereas the halberd does 1d10. And conversely as well, unless you go much higher level in the Barbarian, spoiler alert, we won't, we don't exactly ever make the tail magical. It comes at a cost. Like I said, this is a much more thematic build, but I believe that we may have a way to turn this around, albeit with a little bit of a slow start. And that is going to be taking 1 level ranger, total level 4. Now, the interesting part about rangers, as well as rogues, is that they have an extra bonus whenever you get multi-classed. And see, according to this multi-class table here, you're allowed to take 1 extra skill from the class's skill list. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to say take Insight. I mean, we already got a decent wisdom score as it is. I believe it's a 16, that's a +3. So Insight is honestly pretty darn solid, and we needed that. And we needed that wisdom, and we need that dexterity to swap into ranger. We might as well use it right here now. And honestly, I'm going to say we're going to take favored enemy over favored foe. This allows you to get an extra language that against 2 races of humanoid that you want, and you can pick a language from them. And like I said, you can go with elves and dwarves or anything like that. You're really more of an anti-humanoid monster. So you're able to track them well, you're able to hunt them down, and you're able to deal extra damage. Now the question is though, Ranger changed a lot between the player's handbook and Tasha's. Tasha's gave Rangers favored foe instead of favored enemy, and honestly, favored foe isn't too bad. You just hit an enemy, no bonus action, no reaction, you just hit it, you mark it, you deal an extra 1d4 per turn. Not a huge amount of damage, but every little point counts. And it allows you to use it up to your PB, and you gain that back on a short rest, and of course it scales upwards. It's not too bad. But the problem is, and you may see it because it's blatantly highlighted, is that it says as if you were concentrating on a spell, which, as you may see to the right here, Rage says you cannot concentrate, or you cannot cast on them or concentrate while raging, thus throwing favored foe entirely out the window. Not useful, not applicable, because most of the time we want to be raging. Raging provides us a good amount of benefit, does extra damage, gives us our much needed resistance, and also at the same time it gives us our tail, which is what we've always got this whole thing built around. So favored foe is honestly a lesser trade-off for a frankly sick tail that we'd rather get. In addition, with Ranger, they gave you a whole bunch of things. We are going to take Depth Explorer from Tasha's. That allows you to get multiple features as we go up in level, but we're going to go ahead and start with Canny. Now, Canny gives you an expertise in a skill. Since we already took Stealth before with our criminal background, we're going to go ahead and get expertise in that, and that's going to really bump up our Stealth score, which is good because our dexterity wasn't too hot. So with Stealth, we're able to be incredibly stealthy and sneak up and surprise and attack various humanoids that we may have been tracking. In addition, you also get to be able to read, write, and speak 2 languages of your choice. I went with some esoteric stuff, Draconic and Giant. You never know when they're going to come up, might as well use them. Ranger level 2, Total level 5, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick up a fighting style. Now, you are free to pick whatever fighting style you feel. If you really don't like that 14 AC, I don't blame you. You can pick up defensive fighting style, but I figured as a melee, we're going to go with blind fighting. Again, a lot of thematic stuff going on. Again, this isn't power build, so we're going to go ahead and go with blind fighting. You're able to use your bestial senses to tell whenever someone or something is within 10 feet of you and are able to attack since you have various amounts of range. So it's honestly terribly useful in that sort of sense. In addition, we also get some good spell casting. That's right, we're finally going to get some magic. But you may have been wondering, if we're raging and we're going to be casting spells all the time, how is that going to work? And it's based off our wisdom. So how are we going to use all that? Well, we're going to take up spells that really don't require concentration or really going to be used while you're raging. Absorb Elements is yet another reaction, but can come in use whenever you find yourself at a moment's weakness. You're able to take half the damage that you want from these attacks that are coming in, and also you are able to use the Rider effect to where if you make a melee attack, you can deal 1d6 of that absorbed damage. Not great, but honestly one of those things to where you really ought to be glad whenever you have it. In addition, we also took up Good Berry just so you can provide a nice heal sort of thing. You honestly just throw this in the ground in the morning or before you go to sleep just to use up a spell slot, and you're able to give a berry that restores 1 HP and also enough nourishment to last through the day. With our survival skill, we're just the ultimate build that's able to go through any sort of hard campaign like that. So Good Berry is a good way also to bring up some people that are down, because we do have a lot of movement speed. Again, we have 40, 30 with our normal speed, and then 10 with our Swift Strider, 40 speed. We're able to go around and be a medic if we need to, bringing people up and bringing them around. And also at the same time, Good Berry could be used to also pop you up if somebody rummages your body and feeds you one real quick. Ranger level 3, Total level 6, and we are going to get some features before we jump into the big boy. We're going to pick up Longstrider as our spell, mainly because it doesn't have any concentration. You're able to cast it, and you're able to get it for 1 hour right there, and you get 10 feet of movement speed, which brings us up to 50. We're moving around the field now. Nothing can stop us. We are a beast, quite literally. A beast riding through every single thing, every single which way, and we're able to take them down. In addition, we also, as a ranger, get from Tasha's Primal Awareness, which gives us free spells, honestly. We get to speak with animals, which again, as part beast ourselves, it only makes sense that we're able to speak with beasts. So we might as well pick that up and enjoy it, in all honesty. And it's a ritual, which I don't think we have ritual casting, but it can be useful. But we're really here for the Gloom Stalker. Fresh from Tasha's, we're able to get the Gloom Stalker Ranger, which is going to be terribly useful. And again, it kind of fits our whole aesthetic of being a hunty Manticore that is so skilled at stealth and able to ambush our targets that we hunted down. You might as well pick this up. So being a Gloom Stalker, we're able to get Gloom Stalker Magic, just another free set of spells, which gets us Disguise Self, which allows us to be less bestial, which yes, we just don't have to shift, but honestly, being able to disguise ourselves is always something fairly useful. Just in case in general, and also at the same time as we go through a city, maybe hunting our prey, maybe hunting down a target that we have marked or something, may be important, especially if they know you're coming. But the real reason we're here, and anybody really, for Gloom Stalker Ranger is for Dread Ambusher. This is a nutty skill, a nutty just ability to go through, so ride with me on this one real quick. You give yourself a bonus equal to your wisdom modifier, so our initiative is now +4, which again fixes a main problem that we had with our low dexterity. At the first turn of each combat, your walking speed increases by 10 feet. There we go, another set of movement. If you have everything up, you're moving 60, which lasts until the end of that turn. So we got our first turn hit. You take an attack action that turn, you can make an additional weapon attack as a part of that action. So again, this is where you maybe want claws. Now you're dealing 3 hits with that. If not, either way, you're dealing a whole lot more with your tail and your halberd. If the attack hits, they take an extra 1d8 of that weapon's damage type. So we're just jumping at, we're able to pounce and able to destroy any sort of enemy right off the top, especially with our expertise in stealth. We're able to surprise enemies quite a bit. Again, really evoking the idea of like this stealthy Manticore monster man that is able to crawl through the bushes before bounding and leaping and stabbing our enemies with its poisonous tail. In addition, we also get Umbral Sight. We already got 60 foot of dark vision, so in other words, now we're able to get 30 feet more 90 feet of dark vision. And also in addition, whenever enemies that have dark vision, which is many races, we can just be invisible while we're in darkness, taking advantage again of that stealth. It's incredible, it's useful, and it's what we need. Ranger level 4, total level 7. We're going to keep going down this route, and we finally get an ASI. We need this. We are spread pretty darn thin with our stats, and we always want more. So I decided we're going to go ahead and put 1 in strength, 1 in dex, mainly because we want to be able to improve our main source of damage, which is our strength, and our dexterity was pretty darn bad before, but this +2 will give us not only an additional 2 initiative, which makes it now 5, but it also gives us additional AC, and of course that stealth score that we really like. Ranger level 5, total level 8. We did it. It was sacrilege to leave Barbarian so soon before getting a key feature. And honestly, this may be a little too late, but we need it. And again, this is, like I said, this is a thematic build. This is not a competitive build, like there's competitive DnD. But we get what we really wanted this whole time, that we've been needing this whole time, and that is extra attack. In addition, we also get wonderful things. Again, more primeval or primal awareness spells. I don't know why I keep saying primeval. We get beast sense. That's right. As a beast, we can able to sense other beasts, and we can also touch beasts and be able to see the beast and use their stuff to go through the beasts. We're a lot of beasts over here. You could be Beast from X-Men if you really want. In addition, we also get additional Gloom Stalker magic, and this one, it's kind of nutty. Rope trick is almost like a tiny hut right here, to where you're able to get a rope, which you have from your dungeon or your explorer's pack, and you're able to throw it in the air, and you have a spot to where it opens some extra dimensional space that lets you honestly hit enemies from the other side of, or provide a good set of rest, at least for an hour, a good amount of time for a short rest, which again, your monks and your warlocks will absolutely be grateful for. For our second level spell, which we are now allowed to take at level 5, we are going to pick up the essential Pass Without Trace. This is an absolute game changer. Yes, it is a concentration spell, but you are not going to be using this in combat. You are going to allow anybody who's within you, 30 feet of you, of where you are, a +10 bonus to stealth checks. Really helping out that Gloom Stalker sort of thing. You already have expertise in stealth, and it allows you to get extra damage with all the sort of things that you do, and it get an extra turn on a surprise round. It's honestly kind of wild like that. It's crazy how much Gloom Stalker Ranger changes Ranger as a whole, but it is something that we can certainly take advantage of, especially with our high damage that we do as a Barbarian. Ranger level 6, total level 9, and we're going to keep going down the Ranger route. Even though we did get the extra attack and our second level spells, we're going to go ahead and pick up our 6th level the item that came from Depth Explorer, and that is going to be Roving, which, surprise surprise, gets us another 5 feet of walking speed, and also a climbing speed and a swimming speed, which allows you to be all-terrain all day as a whirling dervish of pain and suffering that's striking enemies as you sneak upon them. In addition, we also get to choose another favored enemy and another language. I would say pick the other one that you did not pick before, Elvish or Dwarvish. Commonplace. If you really want to bully halflings, go for it. Ranger level 7, total level 10, and we're gonna keep going down the Ranger route. That's crazy. We're a Barbarian Ranger multi-class, more time in Ranger than Barbarian, but we're already halfway through the build. Don't you just love it when we're not going crazy down these spellcasters? We're going to pick up Iron Mind, which is a pretty darn good boon. It's very subtle in its approach, but it's very useful. In addition to our strength and constitution saving throws that we got as a Barbarian, we honestly can patch up one of our biggest weaknesses of being a Barbarian in general, and that is our wisdom saves. Now, our wisdom score is already pretty solid, not going to lie. But just an additional amount to your save is always good, because usually the wisdom saves usually have some crazy effects that will just completely shut you down, or worse, control you against your allies. It's happened to me before as a Barbarian. We also get to pick up another second level spell. I'm going to say we're going to pick up Aid. Aid is always good, and it's given to us as an option for a Ranger, so I'd say pick it up. You're able to choose 3 creatures within range, and you can increase the hit point maximum and current HP by 5. The secret about this is that, yes, you're able to improve total hit points by 5. It's not even temporary HP. It's just complete, just additive. But whenever you're able to restore 5 HP current hit points by 5, you're able to bring up 3 people who may be down. So if you really need to, you can drop Rage, and you're able to bring up 3 people with Aid, just in case you really need to, in case you're hiding around somewhere. Ranger level 8, total level 11, and we're going to get another ASI. Let's go with it. So I'm going to recommend that we pick up 2 in Wisdom. I know we're spreading ourselves pretty thin with our scores. You can put that in Strength, you can put that in Dexterity. They're all solid choices, but I think Wisdom may be the best for us right now, because we got spells that require some good saves. We got a bonus to our initiative through Wisdom. It improves our already solid Wisdom saves, and increases skills that we need like our animal handling, our insight, and our survival, and more importantly, our perception, which increases our passive perception. In general, not too bad. And it brings up our ability modifier to a 4, which not too shabby. And of course, as a holdover from Classic Ranger, we get Land Stride, which lets us move through difficult terrain for no extra movement. Honestly, not terrible. Ranger level 9, total level 12, and this is going to be a bit of a slow level, but in all honesty, we can pick it up what we need. So we get our bonus to Primal Awareness, which allows us to speak with plants. That's right, we're becoming multifaceted with all our languages. We're able to speak with animals, we're able to speak with plants, we're able to speak with all sorts of languages, including Halfling. And we're able to speak to a good number of people, which is pretty darn solid for a class with only for a build with only 8 charisma. So we get to be salty in all these different kind of languages. In addition, we also get some Gloom Stalker magic for free, and this one is honestly probably the best spell we pick up, and that is going to be Fear. Yes, it's a concentration. Yes, it's a casting. Just in case you ever need it, in case you're getting cornered by a whole bunch of small enemies, shoot out a 30-foot cone. They have to make a wisdom save, and then they drop whatever they're holding and are just frightened of you. All they can do is just dash away from you and move away as far as they can. It's a good shutdown spell, and it's honestly one that can end a combat pretty darn quickly, especially since you can follow after them and hunt them down. In addition, I'm also going to say we're going to pick up Water Breathing as our first level 3 spell, mainly because it does not have concentration and because it always works. In addition, we also have a swimming speed, so we might as well take advantage of that and be able to become the ultimate predator on both land and sea. Ranger level 10, total level 13. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised too that we're still going down Ranger, but let's keep seeing what we got here. We're finally going to get our final action of Depth Explorer, and that is going to be Tireless. Now this one, I terribly can't be excited for. It just gives you temp HP equal to 1d8 plus your Wisdom modifier as an action. It's fine. We already get that as a shifter, so okay. But this one's okay. When you finish a short rest, you can reduce your exhaustion by 1. In all honesty, if we weren't trying to go thematics for our Beast Barbarian, this honestly would have been a good time to try out Berserker Barbarian, which gives us an extra attack every turn, but at the cost of 1 exhaustion. This would allow us to shave off that exhaustion with just a short rest and be able to go hog wild, but we are going thematics. So if you really want to do like an optimized build, maybe go for a Berserker Barbarian. Surprise, we'd find a use for that. Maybe I'll do a whole separate video on that. Who knows? It'll be not too different from what we see here, but hey, why not? In addition, we also get an optional feature that is going to be Nature's Veil. It replaces Hide in Plain Sight, which, let me tell you now, not too great. But this allows us to turn invisible as a bonus action until the start of our next turn. That's it. So in other words, now we have expertise on our stealth saves, or our stealths. We're able to get a +10 to our stealths, and now we're able to get advantage on our stealths while we are invisible. We are the ultimate hunter. Again, on both land and sea, we're a monster, absolute monster through it all. Ranger level 11, total level 14. We're going to go ahead and pick up a Gloom Stalker feature, but we're going to pick up Revivify as well. Now, Revivify is another 3rd level spell, honestly pretty darn useful. You don't need Revivify until you need it. Might as well have it on hand. All these wonderful classes get it there. You might as well just be an extra person just in case you're the one upstanding. Who knows? But like I mentioned with our 11th level feature, we're going to pick up Stalker's Flurry. And this one I find pretty solid. I believe there are other places online that disagree. But in all honesty, it's more of a feel-good mechanic. And since we're not going crazy competitive DnD, expertise, MLG, MLTTRPG, we're going to pick up something that feels great. Something that feels cool. Something that's thematic. Something that's awesome. And so I think Stalker's Flurry kind of accomplishes all of that, as well as picking up the utility that is Revivify. You're able to attack with such an unexpected seed, you can turn a miss into another attack. So in other words, whenever you miss with a weapon attack, you can just make another weapon attack. We're getting all these items and all these hits going on here to where we're just hunting down preys and taking them out really quick. And now we're going to multi-class into Rogue. That is right, this far in, and it is a channel first 3 class build. That's going to be Rogue 1, total level 15. As I mentioned before with Rogues, surprise, surprise, foreshadowing, expert writer right here. We're able to pick up another skill from our multi-classing right there. So I say we go ahead and pick up Acrobatics. Yes, our dexterity isn't the best, but we might as well show off a little bit of what we got. And you also are able to pick up Thieves' Tools, which isn't terrible. I mean, you're able to pick a lock, you're able to bust in what you need. And as well, we get to pick up Expertise in 2 of our skills. We're going to take advantage of that high wisdom that we have, and we're going to get Expertise in Insight and Perception, as well as our Stealth that we had from before. So now you're able to be the ultimate stealth creature, and you're able to perceive any sort of creature that may come around you. Again, we're the ultimate hunter in that sort of sense. And those who are familiar with what we're doing it. As a rogue, we get our key feature, which is sneak attack. If you have advantage on a hit, which we do because of our reckless attack, we're able to deal extra damage. In this case, it would be 1d6. Of course, there are some other additions to that. You've got it all right here, but that's really the key idea. In addition, we also pick up another language that is going to be Thieves' Cant. Thieves' Cant, what can't they do? Well, apparently they Thieves' Cant. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know right now, the reason why I've got this whole chart right here and highlighted is because we're only gonna go about 4 levels deep into Rogue, so our sneak attack really only is an additional 2d6. Rogue level 2, total level 16, we're gonna pick up good old Cunning Action. That's right, finally we're able to fix up a lot of our issues, which is speed. By being able to use our bonus action to dash, disengage, or to hide. Like I said, our bonus action is going to be pretty darn full between rage, between shifting, and now we also can use a cunning action. Thankfully, they all really have certain different conditions, or at least this one's different than the other two, but we're allowed to do quite a bit with that. And again, hiding as a bonus action is pretty darn conducive to what our plan is here. And of course, I put up some fun numbers there for what we're doing. I did not even count Longstrider as well, so it may be even higher than that. Rogue level 3, total level 17, and we got what we came here for. Steady aim, that's right, I got you again with it. 2 times, 1 video, baby. I'm just kidding. Honestly, steady aim is probably the most useless feature we've got in this because we already have an on-demand advantage with our reckless attack. It even says there, your speed is 0 till the end of the turn. You saw the numbers we were throwing up for speed. I don't think we're gonna spend a turn not moving. You know, that's not what a monster hunter does. But regardless, we are here because we want to be an assassin. Now, you may have seen this before. If you haven't, then this is pretty darn good because it's going to work well with what we got going on. While we do get bonus proficiencies, we're really here because we want to assassinate. You have advantage on attack rolls against a creature that hasn't taken a turn yet in combat. Any hit you score against a creature that is surprised, you get a critical hit. With our Gloom Stalker features that allow us to go first on our turn because we have our enhanced initiative and also deal extra damage while we're, going through our first turn. We also have insane stealth that's going on, which allows us to take advantage of our rage bonus damage. We're able to do quite a bit because now we're just doubling the dice on everything we do. We are a monster that is able to most likely take out a target during the first turn, which is pretty darn good for a travel day. Now against, maybe certain boss encounters, unless you're able to hide effectively well and also be fast before the boss really shows up or engages, we're not exactly doing a whole bunch, but we still have some decent features along the way. Rogue level 4, total level 18. We're round of the bowl here, folks. That's right. There's our total level. There's our final sneak attack damage. And we're going to pick up yet another ASI. We need them. We're going to go ahead and get our wisdom maxed out. That is right. That's going to give us our more initiative. That's going to give us our spell saves. It's going to help us with our already huge wisdom saves and help us with our massive perception score. Might as well just keep it going. Barbarian level 4, total level 19. We really don't have much left to do in these later levels. Ranger doesn't give us a whole bunch. Rogue doesn't really give us too much down the line. And I think we're going to go ahead and take our 4th level Barbarian by getting another ASI. Yep, that's right. We're going to finally increase that dexterity. That dexterity needs to go up. We need to increase our initiative. We need to go ahead and do what we can. Ranger level 12, total level 20. We did it. We made it to the end. And guess what we get for all our hard work and concentration and effort? Another ASI. That's right, folks. We're saving it for the end. We're going to put our last 2 in dexterity. Really give us that initiative score. Maybe put it in strength. Maybe max it out because that is our main attacking item. Or by now, we maybe, we want range stuff. I don't know. But regardless, that's right, folks. You've seen another channel first. All ASIs at the end. Might as well get our stats up bigly at the end. And honestly, that's not a terrible stat spread. 18, 18, 12, 8, 20, and 8. That's pretty darn solid. That's something you'd almost roll for and maybe build a monk around or something. So final thoughts. As I mentioned before, this is a more thematic build. It is something to where it's not exactly the most competitive. Again, I keep saying the word competitive, but humor me on this. Not the most, power gamey build, but it's something to where if you want to be a beast and something that you want to be a primal hunter and able to take advantage of the various features that you get through Ranger, through some Barbarian skills, and are able to, go into melee and be able to do some effective stuff, mind you, the first turn, this is certainly the place for you. As I mentioned before, we're incredibly agile. We don't have an issue with speed. Yes, our base speed is only 35, but we've got so many ways to improve it, so many riders, and so many ways we can just become the most effective hunter that is on the face of the material realm. You also get extra attack, sneak attack, which is pretty darn nutty. As a rogue, yes, you only get one sneak attack a turn, but one of the rogue's biggest problems is that they only get one attack. Since we have extra attack through our ranger, we're able to deal some extra attacks and just keep stinging, keep moving. It's not too bad. As I mentioned before, Gloom Stalker and Assassin are beautiful together. Gloom Stalker is built mostly around taking advantage of the first turn surprise, and Assassin gives you critical hit on that attack, so we're able to do very well. And plus with our +9 initiative, pretty darn great. In all honesty, you may want to do a Herringon instead, to where we're also getting a +6 instead of that proficiency bonus, which really helps out our initiative. But we're, like I said, we're going more thematic stuff here than, you know, big number, big scary place. No, we're not a Monty Python rabbit. We're instead a wonderful monstrous Manticore. We've got quite a bit of skills here as well, mostly because of the starting levels in Ranger and Rogue. Most notably, I want to point out that +17 to Perception. That increases our passive Perception to 27. You're able to smell if anybody farts a mile away. And also we get our +16 to Stealth, +17 to Insight, 11 to Animal Handling. I don't know when that's going to come up, but when it does, you're the best animal handler around. And also you get 11 to Survival, and again, a 10 to Acrobatics, which isn't bad for what we've got. Like I said before, our Stealth, nutty, crazy, insane. And being able to turn yourself invisible is also just an extra bonus feature to it. Like I said, we're built around Nova damage our first turn. We're able to just jump an enemy and just skewer them. More than likely being able to take out a medium-sized enemy within one hit. I don't have the numbers right here for you. If you want to run the numbers, put them down in the comments below, and I will double check it, see if it's cool, see if it's Bucci, see if it's rad, which I'm sure it is, but regardless. And of course, we got ourselves our great utility with Revivify, Good Berry, Water Breathing, Pass Without a Trace, a whole bunch of other skills that you're able to speak with plants and animals, which isn't terrible. Again, if you're chasing down somebody, you can ask a tree, hey, where did this, you know, weird-looking halfling go? And it'd be like, oh yeah, I went that way. You know, you're able to chase them down and hunt them down pretty darn well. But like I said before, this is a primarily thematic build, so we do have a good amount of cons. And I'm going to say off the top that the Barbarian levels do hold it quite a bit back. Honestly, Reckless Attack is great, especially since we're building around a rogue sort of idea, that we're able to get an advantage in our sneak attacks, especially with our Assassinates. But the Beast Tail really doesn't do much. It doesn't scale well. We never really scale up our rages too well either, and we're not exactly built around it. Well, we kind of are, I mean, thematically. But, you know, like as far as the number output goes, it doesn't exactly give a whole lot more than it takes, I feel. We also have some slow progression. I mean, yeah, we spend a lot of time as the Ranger, and we do get a good amount of features. Gloom Stalker Ranger does help us quite a bit, but those first 3 levels as a Barbarian, I feel, again, just really hold us back, so it really sets us behind. And while we do get some good solid spells, I mean, everybody else is doing some crazy solid spells as well, too, so... And we're getting them a little bit later. We have some low AC. As I kept harping on, especially early on, our AC was 14. So that means we were getting hit quite a bit. I mean, in all honesty, probably hit more often than not. I mean, mathematically, no, but I don't know. I feel like it does. Especially since if we're using Reckless Attack, we're going to be getting hit quite a bit. So... And you may have noticed, those keen-eyed of you, yeah, we have 1 maxed out stat, but we took 0 feats this whole time. We are very mad. That is short for multi-ability score dependent, and we are hungry for stats. Because we have our strength for our attacking, but that's really where it comes from. That's our main damage source, because we want to take advantage of rage and the various features that come through that. We do want our dexterity because we want a good initiative. We also just want to be able to get our AC up a little bit because we are struggling for survivability. Maybe Constitution would be better for that, but it helps our stealth, it helps our initiative. So really there's more benefit in dexterity than there is our Constitution. Yeah, we don't need intelligence, yeah, we don't need charisma, but we do really want that wisdom as well, because again, it bonuses our initiative, it helps us with some spells that we're using. So we're hungry. We're hungry for a lot of stats that we really need. And so there just isn't really room for feats. I mean, even then, like I said, you saw all the ASIs were at the end there because we really need to chase down other features for it. And of course, we really don't take advantage of sneak attack. We only get up to 2d6, which, yes, whenever you assassinate becomes 4d6, but I mean, sneak attack isn't, you know, a hallmark feature. It's not something to where people in the white room are going nuts being like, oh, you need to prioritize sneak attack, but you know, you don't want to have a feat. I feel bad about using features to a very minimal amount, and I feel like sneak attack being a core feature of the rogue really isn't taking too much advantage. I guess really assassinate's really the reason why we pursued down the rogue path. And actually, I'm incorrect. I did put dead level 2 extra attacks. I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I thought we went barb 5, which we don't. But yeah, so overall, like I said, much more of a thematic build. First of its kind as far as the long builds on this channel goes, and honestly, kind of relatively short comparatively. But regardless, let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel about this. I honestly feel pretty good. I feel like it would be a very fun class. It would be fun to play mostly in the upper levels. I want to say maybe around level 8 is to where things really turn on once you get extra attack and the various other features that come with it. Because that way you're able to stealth fairly well, you get your Gloom Stalker features, you're able to attack multiple times the first turn, you're able to get a lot of extra damage going, and you're able to Reckless that first attack at the very least, and deal quite a bit of damage. In addition, you also have your tail and everything going on too, and that's before enemies get really crazy too far to where they are just beating you down senselessly. At least Ranger has the second highest HP dice, so we're not up a creek, as it were. But regardless, let me know what you think about this build. Whether or not you want to see more thematic builds like this or not, or whether or not you just want me to stick to crazy, almost MLG, TTRPG builds, some sort of crazy stuff going on. I'm really curious. Like I said, this is the first time trying something more novel in concept like this. I like it insofar. I mean, I know it's a very popular idea of taking Gloom Stalker plus Assassin, and we're just throwing in some Barbarian to take advantage of some of those features, but you know, hit or miss. But regardless, let me know what you think. I think this would be maybe a stronger case to use with, what's it called? Berserker. Because like I said, if we're able to take advantage of the various features we get with Tireless and everything, maybe that's more of an interesting route. But regardless, if you try this one or if you try the Berserker one, let me know how you feel. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you try this. Maybe it's really good for a one-shot. Maybe you're not able to take full advantage of your stealth mechanics, but you're still able to take advantage of quite a bit. I'm rambling too much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Thank you for a little bit of your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.